global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news.
Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. The much awaited launch of the IBB's book, as Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida's book, The Journey of Service, has come and gone. A lot of castigation, criticism, and all of that has taken place. But then the most interesting part of it is what the former Vice President of Nigeria, Yemi Osibanjo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, said when he was given an opportunity to comment on the book in front of IBB, Obasanjo, even the current president of Nigeria. I mean, for this one, he ended up indicting all of them, but at the end of the day, it was looked upon as a jovial statement. But it's good enough you listen to it. Though he made mention of his former boss, talking about the person of Buhari, you're also going to hear the reason why Buhari refused to attend it. Don't forget, he sent in a representative. He was not there. But let's get to hear, first of all, what VP Osimbanjo has to say about it.
Fascinating. Many of the key figures in this book and who shaped the history of our country are here with us today. And that tells another story all by itself. And that is something truly unique about Nigeria. Our ability to move beyond the past, no matter how bitter and no matter how adversarial our past relationships may have been, and to still come together. So seated amongst us here today is General Yakubu Gowon, who became Nigeria's head of state at the age of 32 and led the country for 9 years. His government was overthrown in 1975 by a coup involving the then Brigadier Olusegun Obasanjo and the then Brigadier Theophilus Danjuma, and the author himself, I confirm, the then Lieutenant Colonel Babangida, who was then commander of the newly formed Armored Corps. Also involved in that coup were the then Lieutenant Colonels Muhammadu Buhari, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Bello, who is here also, and Lieutenant Colonel Sani Sami. Yet here we are today with former President Obasanjo, General Danjuma, and of course the author himself present, not as adversaries of the author, but as witnesses to history, celebrating a fellow statesman. In a striking turn of fate, the author notes that it was President Obasanjo who, after the tragic assassination of General Murtala Mohammed, insisted that a young Lieutenant Colonel Babangida be appointed to the Supreme Military Council, making him its youngest member at the time. Also represented here is the immediate past president, Muhammadu Buhari, another leader whose path intertwined with Babangida. It was former President Babangida who played a key role in the coup that brought President Buhari to power in 1983, and later in another coup that removed him and brought Babangida himself into power. Yet today, President Buhari is represented at this occasion, celebrating the man who overthrew him and detained him for 3.5 years, his one-time old adversary, former President Babangida. And then, of course, there's a gentleman here who was an elected senator in 1992 in the course of Babangida's transition program. When Babangida annulled the 1993 election and General Abacha took over and dissolved the Senate, that senator tried to reconstitute the Senate in resistance to the dissolution. He was detained, charged to court. He escaped into exile. Today, he is also here to celebrate with his former tormentors. But as president, as President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The third reason why this 420-page book is important is because it unveils one of the most enigmatic leaders.
All right, welcome back. That was one of the most interesting part of it. But however, why did Buhari not attend it? That's what the next thing we want to look at right now. The commissioner, or let me say the former commissioner for information, culture and tourism and chieftain of the All Progressive Congress APC in Niger State, Jonathan Vatsa, opened up on why Buhari did not attend it. Other heads of state who were betrayed or who were part of the betrayal process, which is normally being described with the word military coup, all of them were in attendance and they were smiling over everything that had happened. But Buhari was not there to give us a little inch of his joke or possibly his contribution to the book. He wasn't there sending a representative. Whatever he had was also read. But let's listen and hear from Vatsa, that's Jonathan Vatsa, who is from Niger State, what he had to say about Buhari not being in attendance in that particular book launch. And according to him, he says that the whole world knows that Niger State was made a scapegoat by a former president, Buhari, because of IBB. For 8 years, he did not pay any serious official visit to the state, and no single federal project was executed in the state. The Barrow Port project, which recently generated some political heat in the state, was abandoned by Buhari, including all the federal road projects across the state. The people of the state were made to pay for sin they know nothing about. It was a case that when two elephants fight, the grass suffer. He sidelined the state just because of the sins of one man. That was the position of Vatsa. My colleagues in the house, we just want to talk about, IBB's book has torn apart the hearts of a lot of people. Some it has been as though it's reopening the wound that had long died, or healed. Let me use the word healed. But for him, he just had to do it to put to rest whatever that was, in the hearts of most Nigerians about it. He talked about the issue of Biafra and all of that. So many questions have been raised. So many people are making strong demands. Even Abacha's children also seems to look at his action and the statement he has made about their father as a betrayer. What's your position on all of this?
Well, if you look at it, you discover that IBB has lived long. I feel it's a case of conscience. A lot of things are bottled up. These guys are custodian of history. And just like the former vice president said, seated amongst them is all the actors and gladiators that played that history.
Exactly.
And they're not sitting as enemies or warlords. They're sitting as witnesses to what happened in history. And unfortunately, in our history, some of these things are not going to be said. They were not written in our history. They were probably fine-tuned, but the real story is the thing that, IBB is saying. None of them has, deferred. They all laughed over it. Because at some point, he just believes Nigerians deserve the truth.
Yes,
and what other time is to say it now that it's very old. And some persons from the southeastern region are asking that they're demanding for an apology, that it's taken almost 32 years. How many decades to come out with this thing? A whole lot of things were said. Talked about the issue of, how I think Gowon also neglected what happened in the north against the southeasterners that made Ojukwu to rise in the southeasterners and declare for Biafra. A whole lot of things were said. And a whole lot of people also, the likes of Kenneth Okonkwo, all of them were just believing that at this rate, you owe Nigerians an apology. And at this rate, some of them are even insisting that Tinubu should also use the opportunity to apologize to Nigerians. A whole lot of things have been played. So in that room, seated there in that room, are those who played everything about Nigeria is in their hands. One way or the other, they played a role. And, in a jovial manner, like the former vice president did, just pointed it all to them. So you guys are the ones that play this politics, that wherever Nigeria is today, all of you, your hands are in it one way or the other. But they're not seated there as enemies, but as friends. But if you ask me, some person say it doesn't make any difference. He says it now, he doesn't say it. Nigerians have moved on, but it's good to know the true history.
Yeah.
how, especially for the next generation. Let them know exactly. But just that Abacha children feel cheated, in the sense that you are saying it now that their father is not around. The dead don't talk.
Yeah.
So how does my father defend this fact? Although I did hear something like Odinkalo saying that, Professor Odinkalo saying that IBB is speaking his own truth.
Exactly.
His own truth, because the dead don't talk.
Okay, so which means we should also have that book, The Journey of Service, should be a book or a topic that should be given to virtually all those who partook in, the pre-independence or post-independence saga in Nigeria.
But please give it to IBB. All of them are all alive. Why didn't they write?
I feel that some of them also, like Gowon, could be he's on something also to tell Nigerians.
But he didn't. So give it to IBB for even, being courageous enough to own up and say, this is it. This is what happened in my time. This is my perception of what happened in my time. Nigerians need to know. So yes, I'm not celebrating the fact that he has done so much. I'm only celebrating the fact that he came out clean. 32 years or whatever years he has taken him, at least Nigerians have a fair knowledge of what happened.
Well, it's quite interesting, I must say. So many of Nigerians are talking about it. Some people said he shouldn't be in his house by now, that he should be in the prison. Some believe that all that had happened is pointed to the fact that Nigeria is a country that you can do with them anyhow you like, and you walk away with it without anybody stopping you. But what's your position on all of this? Let's interact in that conversation. Thank you very much.